It's time. Black Panther, Spoilercast. If you haven't seen it, get out of here. If you've seen it, well, I guess stick around and we'll talk all the spoilers in the movie and how many elements were so well handled. Now, the first thing I want to just kick off with is how real Wakanda felt. Like, it felt like a really realized place. And, like,
Right, I'm gonna make everyone really mad right now. I don't think they've realised Wakanda that well.
I thought they did.
You saw one street,
But, like, see, that's the
one
thing.
street out of a city.
You see, like,
That's
you
crazy.
see, like, the street, right? And you see, like, the skyline. You see, like, the, like, market where they're, like, handing out food and stuff. And then, like, you see the Warriors Falls and, like, where the Jabari tribe and stuff is and all that. And, like, when they're going down the river and, like, the
Well,
boats.
the
Like,
whole
I mean,
country, like the country as a whole, yeah, and like just from the city aspect,
yeah.
that's kind of like it's just one street. Like, come on.
Yeah, no, that's one of the things is that they didn't show enough of street life in Wakanda, but they tried to show enough as it could within the time constraints.
It's just like what they had, because like this movie has the same pacing issues as Ragnarok, and I don't know if Marvel was making this a trend in their movies or not, but like it's very like here's this, here's this, here's this, here's that, and it's like you only got what 5 minutes of Wakanda at street level.
See, I'm glad though you brought up Thor Ragnarok, because in the 5 minutes they actually get street level Wakanda, we see more of what it's like there than we ever did in Asgard. Because like Asgard in the first two movies, you're like nothing. Like I never got a sense that Asgard was anything more than a set piece, and it was like So like in that regard, this movie nails more of that because they try to like expand upon it and really deal with kind of like, oh look, it's definitely unique and it's different, and like look at all these cool aspects.
I would definitely agree. Like it was better realized than like an Asgard or like even an Attilan. But like it's just I don't know. I think it's more my want for more of it, not like oh this was bad. It's just like I want more of. Like I want to see more of this. Like give me a World of Wakanda movie.
Okay, well, you know what I actually want to see more of? Ulysses Klaw.
Nope.
Even though like some people were going like, "Oh, I wish he hadn't died. I wish this. I wish that." It's like he had to die. He was a plot point.
Well, at least you do have one thing left of him, his mixtape.
Yeah, Marvel better release that. That better be they should release
some people were asking, is it on SoundCloud and can they listen to it?
No.
If it's not, they've missed the trick.
What they have to do is release that as a one shot, is like a Klaw music video. Like just release that as a bonus because people will go nuts over that thing.
And say that the whole Team Daryl thing worked. So
yeah,
why not?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, I thought Klaw was gonna last a little more because, like, when I think of Black Panther's biggest villains, Klaw is like the one.
Yeah.
He's like the Joker to Batman. So I was like, when they killed him, I was like in the theater. I literally like you could hear me like weep. I was like, why?
But like, Klaw. There are like avenues to bring him back.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Because the reason why he's saying he's the biggest villain that Black Panther has is that he's the closest one to actually disrupt the vibranium armor that he has.
Yeah. But like like a sequel, just bring him back in that full like android body. No, why not?
Yeah, and like
maybe make it look a bit better than the arm because I don't know what was going on with that arm. Was it an actual prosthetic or was it CGI? It looked so weird.
Yeah, it did.
It's got no texture on it. It's like, what is going on?
Yeah, what was really weird is like they didn't take the Agent Coulson route or anything where it's a real looking arm. Instead, they like went this bleak, almost prosthetic yet not. Like it was it was a little off.
I mean, because the vibranium was stolen in the 90s, so it had to be like late 90s, early 2000s, and they can't.
But like the actual skin of the arm. It looked
I thought it was intentional.
It looked like a floppy rubber arm. I think it might have been intentional because it didn't look like horrific CG.
Yeah,
it just really.
I thought that's what I thought when I saw it. I thought they were making it intentional.
Yeah.
It was just one of those like, oh, what is this?
So, what big element do we want to start off talking about the movie and discussing? Do we want to talk about Killmonger? Because damn, was he a good villain?
Right, I'm just, like, again, like, people are gonna get mad. Killmonger's hella.
Uh,
He's not the exact same villain as Hela, though. Like, they're very similar in like motivations and their actual
Kinda.
Yeah,
but,
the sins of the father again and all that type of thing.
It's like it's the outcast of the, like, all of that, and then it's like, oh, we want to take over the throne, we want to disrupt the government.
They're kind of the same, but different on different levels
they are different, but it's just they're very similar. And like, yes, Michael B. Jordan did good in the role, and I feel like maybe the dialogue was stronger than anything else for that character. I'm not saying he did a bad job or anything, but I think that's probably. I don't know. Like, when I was watching it, I was like, "You are just Hela." That's all I had in my head watching it. It's like, I've seen this character before. He's doing a better job than Hela did, to be honest, because he's a lot stronger. But it's just like, I kind of seen. Not like, you've seen other villains before in different Marvel movies. Mm-hmm. It just really stood out. I think it's probably because it's been so close.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I know. I just thought I like his motivations. I like his delivery of everything he was saying. Like, he felt believable, and I like how they kind of tie everything back around to, Wakanda itself, and like how he was a product. And I like the tone. It's like, he was made this way, and he's like this giant psychotic killer and everything. And it's like, well, that was also a byproduct of joining the army and everything. So like, they played that aspect.
It was that, and the radicalizations with Wakanda and his family, where T'Challa's father didn't want to bring in a half breed because he's not full Wakandan, and then when you see Eric as a kid talking to his dad saying, "Why am I different? We look the same."
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of Eric as the kid, when he was in the ancestral plane, it's the complete parallel to T'Challa. And the second Eric's dad talks, he's that kid. And it's just like, this guy's never grown up properly.
Yeah.
He's still just that little boy. Like, stuff like that in this movie made what it is.
I like that because it gives that everyone's vision of the ancestral plane is different depending on where they grow up. And
that's also another thing. Like, the way I also saw that was like, his dad never gets to really go to Wakanda again because he didn't die there. So he's permanently stuck in that crap apartment, and that's where he lives. And I was like, that's kind of really powerful, like the way they conveyed that. The movie just kind of nailed that whole, I think, father-son relationship in a really good way.
Yeah, and you also see that he feels sorry for Eric because he asks him, "Is this really what you need to do?"
And also the way his dad is like, "So no tears for me." Just to like proper nail that parallel where T'Challa sees his dad and he's like bawling his eyes out. But Eric's just like people die, it's what they do.
Yep. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I really enjoyed how they played up those elements, and then I also enjoyed the rest of the cast. Like, pretty much everybody I thought was on point. If that makes sense. Like,
I honestly think that a lot of people have said this, but T'Challa and Boseman are probably not the weakest part of the movie. Like, he's good, but he's overshadowed by everyone else.
Yeah, that's basically the consensus, is that T'Challa takes a backseat to everyone else because there's not a lot of Black Panther going on.
To be real, there's actually an entire part of a movie where he's thrown off a cliff, and then everybody else gets to shine without him, and you're like, oh, okay.
You say there's an entire part of the movie. It's a scene.
Yeah, but it's
he gets thrown off the cliff, and you have the what's her name, Nakia and Nakoya.
Yep.
Like, they have that argument of like, oh no, I'm loyal to the throne. Like, I don't really want to be, but I have to. And she's like, well, I'm going to go this, and then he comes back.
Right, but then this is also where we get all the Killmonger stuff there too. So it's like,
I mean, true.
So they kind of, it felt like it was the exact thing you're saying. It's like, yeah, he takes a back seat to everybody, but I'm like, but he was still so good in everything he had to do. So it didn't feel awful.
Yeah, no one wasn't complaining that he wasn't good as T'Challa and Black Panther. It's just that there wasn't enough of him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think he might have been. I don't know. He felt different in the Civil War T'Challa to me. I don't know if you guys felt that. He felt slightly. I don't know. I don't know if it was like the accent, if he did was slightly different, or how he carried himself.
Yeah.
Or if it was just like the cast around him making him feel different. But it felt not off, just different, and not in a bad different. It's just kind of, just a subtle little change. But I'm not entirely sure. No, that whole movie, like I felt the supporting cast just kind of went like, Chadwick, sit down a second, like let us have the thing, 'cause everyone got the best action scenes apart from T'Challa. I found, like,
yeah, I mean, yeah, I could agree with that.
I think for the most part it is purely the suit, because like the only time the suit's in danger is when there's like either Klaw's hand around or the literal underground railroad, which like, apart from that, he's invulnerable, and I think it kind of it took me out of that a little bit. It's like, you can't really feel anything from him in the fight because he's literally invulnerable.
I mean, but there was one thing that I did notice is that T'Challa, just like you, Mitch, he didn't like the gold on one of the suits.
Good man, his taste.
Yeah.
Tacky shit.
Yeah. I wasn't feeling that gold either, really. I was like, I don't know. So,
also, do you think that Stark's gonna have his suit before he meets the Wakandan and everything else, or do you think he's gonna get it after that? Because the suits do the same thing, but they look very different doing it.
Yeah, because like a little known fact that people don't know is that gold vibranium that Black Panther uses on most of his suits, it can slice through metal, any type of metal, like butter.
Well, can't vibranium do that in this anyway? Because
pretty
it can cut
much.
itself because it's scratch cap shield in Civil War.
Yeah.
I assume, but
I know, but it was like gold. It would like basically just cut it to ribbons, though.
I did like that they had his dad in the gold Panther suit, because obviously in the 90s, Panther with the gold, and that's a nice little touch. Even though his dad looked really funny in like the big not Civil War one, but the big padded suit, just like. But I don't know. I didn't. Like, I enjoyed this movie. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as everyone else on the internet has, but.
Was it Shuri calling was it the officer a colonizer?
No. That's one thing actually. Like people going like, oh, she used old memes and all this. You had to whip your hair back and forth. It's like I like the fact that they're so far advanced technology wise, but like social trends, they're far behind.
Yeah.
Like I like that little.
Yeah, because like T'Challa's father was like a fan of old James Bond movies.
Yeah. Also, nice Back to the Future reference with the sneakers.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed that one too, and like I enjoyed all the references and stuff, and I thought the humor was on point. But like, I think what this movie did different than like any other Marvel movie so far, it's quite clear why people are like rallying for this movie. Just to look at it, it's like there isn't a movie like this, and I think a lot of people miss that point of like why so many people are getting so attached to this movie. It's like, well, finally, like kids can have this hero that they look up to, and the movie, the way they play up the hero too, it's really great. And that dying line of Killmonger to me was like, damn.
I liked how they basically got down packed that the problem that T'Challa has with being a king and being himself is that most of the kingdom of Wakanda are basically xenophobic to the rest of the world, but T'Challa wants to bridge that gap because a lot more good can happen when everyone shares what they have than being closed off.
Yep.
Because it calls back.
And he only learns that because of Eric. Like before that, it's just kind of like, no, I'm gonna keep you all up.
Yeah, and then like because you can get a call back to when Killmonger breaks out Klaw, and one of the agents takes a bullet, and the general says just leave him, and the child doesn't want to because what would that make him?
That was when Ross got shot, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was.
And he put the magic bead in his back.
Yeah.
I don't know how metal heals people, but apparently
it's vibranium. Go with it.
Yeah.
Vibranium does. It's the miracle metal. It does everything. That made me laugh. But no, it is a very good movie. It's definitely, I find, stronger in what it says.
Oh God, yeah.
Than anything else. Like the message of the movie is probably. It's definitely the strongest part. Whereas, like, the plot is predictable. It's kind of a tried and true, maybe a bit long in the tooth plot.
Yeah.
The pacing was a little funky for me personally, but
I
don't know.
I only had a problem with like maybe like in the first like after the first like 15 minutes it dragged on maybe a little bit in some parts, but yeah.
Like, it's the same as Ragnarok. And, like,
yeah.
You know, you have the first act where it just literally throws everything.
Did any of you guys hate the part with was it vibranium armored rhinos coming into battle?
Nope.
I only hated the CG, and the CG in this movie is awful. Like, it's not Justice League bad. Like that, they didn't even. That's all claymation. But like, it just looks dated in this, especially in like vibranium trains.
I think it was outside the South Korea chase scene. That's where people were saying that some of the CG gets dodgy.
What was the chase? I can't remember that.
That's like the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, like the big old car chase.
Yeah. No, I don't know. It's just, it's not like horrifically bad, but it's too noticeable.
Yep.
Like you can just look at it and go, oh yeah, it's just CG. Like, you know, I think that might be another reason what's taken me out. Is like I just know it's CG. It's like there's nothing believable.
That last fight was, I think, like 100% CG. Like the one where they're fighting the vibranium mine. I was just like, oh boy, like
it's a cool idea. You know, it is just like, oh, it's the Underground Railroad sort of thing. Like it was a really cool fight. It was maybe a bit too prequely. Like I saw someone say that, I'm like, oh, that's just ruined the movie for me completely.
I mean, they did the whole Spider-Man 2 Doc Ock, Spidey falling down, punching each other, rotating. I was like, oh, Kevin Feige totally wanted that in there. Like so.
But you know, it was like, it's definitely the characters are what made this. You know, it's kind of it's a mix between Guardians and Ragnarok for me. It's like the plot wasn't great. The characters are the strongest part of this movie and drive everything forward. And poor Forrest Whitaker. Like, that's Disney movies in a row. They've killed him off. like do the ridiculous accent and then just die. There you go.
I was waiting for him to be like, T'Challa!
Just like, why would you say it was you? Why is no one helping this man? Let Forrest Whitaker live. But I did like the fact that they got his actual son to play young Forrest.
Yeah, that was cool. Like, even like the King in the flashback opening scene, that was also the actual like T'Chaka's actor's son. So
yeah,
that's like
just quickly with T'Chaka in the ancestral plane. Does he always look like that? Because he looked like he was having a stroke mid-scene, and I'm like, is his face moving? I can't tell. It's so bad.
Well, that reminds me. Do you guys like how the opening origin story of how the Black Panther and Vibranium came to be?
I liked that, but it does raise the question of, like, how does a mountain of vibranium crash land on the planet and not destroy anything?
Yeah.
Does it just do the little cartoon thing where it lands and just tips over?
Well, yeah, it makes a little impact into the dirt and just tips over.
Dink, flop.
I have a feeling vibranium is going to be the new Avengers incident. They're like, we found a piece of vibranium over here. Oh, look at all the stuff it's done. Like, oh, okay.
Also, could you have told us how, like, gone into the whole Klaw thing a bit more? Like, how does one steal a quarter ton of vibranium?
Yeah.
It was an inside job.
How exactly does that happen?
Well, okay, how about, like, that too, and it's like, it took them so long to just track the dude. Like, the Avengers tracked him in, like, a fraction of a second. They're like, Klaw, he's on the ship.
I mean, I take it that they didn't want to just, like, assume that one of the royal family members was a traitor. So they wanted to make sure, without a shadow of a doubt, that he did it.
Daniel Kaluuya's family clearly are all traitors. They fucking flip on you at the drop of a hat. I was like, I like this character. And it's like, fuck you. Just instantly switches. It's crazy. And it was a good movie. I did enjoy it. I just don't think I enjoyed it as much as I...
So, like, what did you guys think about the ending, or the two endings that it had?
Well, the credit scenes that they completely tasmed in the trailers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? Why are we doing this now?
So I love the first one. Obviously, it's like, don't put up.
You would say, what can Wakanda benefit to the world? That is, you don't even know.
Yeah. I like the whole message of that scene, just being like, don't put up a wall, you moron. That's segregating people. I like that. And the second scene, I liked, but doesn't it kind of create a small plot hole in the MCU?
How?
So, okay, so end of Civil War, right? We see Bucky and Cap, and they're with T'Challa, and they're putting Bucky on ice. But then, when we like open up to Black Panther, it's right as he's flying back into Wakanda, right?
Yeah, it's been a week later. That's what
So
I
I'm
said.
like, so everything gets done in a week? Like with Bucky, he's like all scrubbed now. He's like, I'm fine, I'm White Wolf. It just kind of seems
Because
fast to me.
if Wakanda is that advanced, they could pretty much deprogram him within a short amount of
I
time.
would say what all you got to think of is the Ross scene where he's like, bullet wounds don't heal in a day, and she's like, they do here.
Yeah, true.
But I love Shuri in this film. It was so
Yeah. I honestly thought I
Yeah.
wasn't going to like her when I first went to the movie. I was like, I don't know, but yeah.
She's
So,
one of those characters that could have gone either way, but when she flips him off walking away, it's just like,
Yeah, is that what you bring another broken white boy for us to fix?
oh, it's so funny.
See, I was afraid she was going to go into the territory of being like a Rose from The Last Jedi, where I'm like, oh god, no! But no.
Also, can we stop with this Shuri for Ironheart crap?
Yeah.
Like-
Nice.
don't-
She's a Disney princess. That's what she is.
No, she's not by the rules of Disney princesses. She does not qualify.
She is a princess.
She's a princess owned by Disney. She's not a Disney princess.
Not yet. But just wait till they make her Barbies and stuff like they did of Jin and Leia. It's going to happen. It'll happen. Oh, God. Yeah. Black Panther, any wrapping up thoughts? I mean, I loved the movie. Absolutely loved it. So, pretty much everything, most of it, like, worked for me. There was only a few complaints I had, so...
I mean, for the most part, it worked for me. I think probably maybe a bit of it might be the fact that I can't understand that impact that it has.
yeah.
Like, I can understand that it has an impact. I can't understand the impact. Yeah, I think that's because for the most part it did work. I think the plot and the CG probably took me out of it, but I need to see it again.
Mm-hmm.
A bit like Guardians and really set my opinion on it. But
I mean, I loved it. It's one of my favorite MCU movies up there with like Thor Ragnarok and the first Iron Man.
It's my third favorite, so it's
Yeah,
like...
and like the icing on the cake was like all the Dark Knight fanboys getting really fucking salty about on Metacritic and Rotten Tomatoes saying it's not the best movie ever.
I'm surprised there's still Dark Knight fanboys out there.
Well,
Yeah.
obviously there was when I saw the rating.
But I like how you can clearly tell people try to like sabotage the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's like, nope, we're gonna fight back.
Yep.
So we're gonna drop, then we're gonna go up. No, it's definitely it's probably mid to high top 10, I'd say, for me.
Okay.
I think there's definitely other stronger films. I think for what it says and like some of the dialogue, it's the best. Like especially like the Killmonger ending bit. Like that's like
Yep.
really strong
Oh,
stuff.
and can people make the distinction between the soundtrack and the score? Because people are getting confused.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a lot of people say like the score or soundtrack was really badly used in this movie. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
I'm like,
I-
they used songs from the soundtrack if you listen to it.
Did they actually? Because I didn't.
Yeah, they used
yeah,
like
they did.
5 or 6 of them.
Damn. I only really. I must have just paid attention to all the African score stuff.
Yeah,
that
that stuff
was
was amazing.
Because they used a mixture of both, but when like certain people came on, because like there was I think Paramedic, that's the Killmonger theme that came on.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, I mean, we'll talk more about Black Panther, obviously, when we do our audio commentary. So you guys let us know what you thought about it down in the comments below.